Right everyone, today we're going to be talking about Nightsisters in Phase 4 of Darkside GOTB and how to get max waves with them. Just to let you all know from the start, there is a small degree of RNG with this team, but it can be directed significantly, so it's very reliable with the current relics that I have. Obviously, increasing the relics on your Nightsisters even higher is going to help massively, and it's also possible to do it with less, but for the most reliable runs, you're going to need your mods and relics in peak condition and a solid tactic to reliably max this out. So as always everyone, we're first going to go through the mods, relics and zetas you're going to need for this team to work. For the relics, honestly the more you have the better, but you're absolutely without a doubt going to need at least Relic 5 Daka with a strong recommendation for Relic 7. This is because it will increase her health massively, which is going to be growing throughout the battle, but more on this later. Asajj is another important character you're going to want to Relic to up her growing damage output. Relics on the other sisters are recommended too, but Daka and Asajj are the key members. It's also nice to keep one sister around gear 12 though, as I've done with my spirit, so it's easier to have her dead before the 4th wave starts, but again more on that later. So moving on to zetas, which are all mandatory in my opinion, we're going to start with the Mother Talzin lead, which is going to allow any dead Nightsisters to revive and attack for one turn, and then die again, which is going to insanely fuel your Asajj and Daka's stats, which we'll explain more about in a few minutes. In addition, if an enemy is killed on the turn the dead sister assists, they'll stay revived, so this is a nice bonus too if you're losing team members too quickly. Moving on to Talzin's second zeta, which is her Plague Bearer unique. This is going to grant a 35% turn meter whenever any character drops below 50% health. This includes allies and enemies. Nothing too complicated here, this is essentially going to speed Talzin up massively, meaning you'll be able to get a lot more plague out on the enemy team a lot faster, which is key to winning the battle. The third zeta we're going to need is Asajj's unique Rampage, which is going to award her a variety of stat increases each time an ally or enemy is killed, including offense, health and crit chance. The most important of these is the stacking offense, which over time is going to grow insanely high, making her hit extremely hard. Keep in mind that the revive assists from the Talzin lead do count as deaths. This is why Asajj's damage output is going to grow so fast in the circumstance of a Nightsister or two being dead and assisting from the grave. The fourth and probably one of the most important zetas is Daka's unique Serve Again, which works in a similar manner to Asajj's Rampage. What this does is whenever an ally is revived, Daka is going to gain 10% max health. Again, this stacks with the assists from the dead sisters, so her health is going to grow extremely quickly if a dead sister is constantly being revived to assist. This is the key method to how we're going to survive on the final wave against the stupidly high damage we're going to be taking. It will get to the point where Daka is next to impossible to kill, so she can just keep reviving the team. One important thing to keep in mind though is the boosted stats from both Daka and Asajj will reset every wave, so at the start of each wave your Daka is going to be the most vulnerable. Next we're going to start talking about the mods you're going to need for this team to work. Mods are extremely important for this squad. You cannot just be modding them all with speed sets and expecting an easy run. They all need to be modded specifically as they are in this guide to cater to their strengths. 6E mods are mandatory here on Daka and Zombie, but highly recommended for your entire team, as they all benefit massively from these. For more details on modding, be sure to check out my 5-minute modding episode on Nightsisters, which I'll link in the top right corner of this video now. So starting up we have the team's leader Mother Talzin, who's modded with an offense set and a health set, with a total of 260 speed. You also need to try and stack as much offense as possible to increase her damage. Don't worry at all about potency, as it's not needed at all. As a side note for this entire team, be sure to always use health primaries over protection, as once protection is gone, it's gone. Sisters will be reviving constantly, so health is without a doubt much better to stack on the entire team. Next up we have our Zombie, who's modded with 2 health sets and a defense set with a total of 242 speed. She needs to be a good balance of fast and very tanky. However, you are going to without a doubt need to run a crit avoidance arrow, so be sure to look out for very high speed secondaries to make up for not having a speed primary arrow. The crit avoidance arrow is extremely important, as it will massively reduce the damage she's going to be taking in this battle. Up next we have our Spirit, who's modded with an offense set and a crit chance set and a total of 280 speed. With her, your main focus is going to be speed and offense. She's going to hit the opponents very hard, even more so if you have relics on her. As I mentioned earlier though, I personally like her to be easy to kill, so I can time her death well during the 3rd wave, so I can begin the 4th wave with her dead. I'll talk more about the reasoning for this though later on in the video. Next up we have our Daka, who's modded with 3 health sets and a total of 255 speed and 138k health. As you've probably guessed, you want to stack her health as high as possible, so the boost she gains from her zeta each revive is the most it can be. She's the key piece in this team because as long as she's alive, the entire team can be revived. I also use a crit avoidance arrow on her to help reduce the damage she's going to receive from some of the hard hitting crits the clones often deal out. And finally we have our Asajj, who we have modded with a crit damage and a crit chance set, with a total of 231 speed. As your main damage dealer, you're going to want to mod her with as much damage as possible without giving up too much speed. She's going to be gaining a lot of offense from her unique throughout the battle, so be sure to grab this where possible in your mod secondaries, but be sure to use a crit damage primary triangle on her for maximum damage potential. So let's get started on the battle itself. Starting out, I'd like to let you all know of a very important trick to help land your debuffs. As you all likely know, the tenacity these guys have is ridiculously high, but luckily our zombie applies tenacity down on her basic, and I honestly don't think it can be resisted. This is a good way throughout the battle to make sure you can land stuns and apply plague properly, as otherwise it's likely to be resisted, which is a real pain as debuffs are a massive part of why this team works so well. Because of this, you only really want to be using Talzin's AoE when at least one, but ideally more enemies have tenacity down from zombies basic, so plague's going to at least stick on a few and then spread naturally to the rest of the team. Be sure to target the AoEers first with tenacity down, primarily ARC troopers, as the days from those can really affect your team, especially Dakka's turn meter game when someone dies. Once tenacity down has been applied, then follow up with a stun from Dakka if possible. Once all AoEers are under stun lock and someone is dead, be sure to do the same to any medics, as you don't want revives to be happening once you're finally making progress on the team. Although the team has crazy amounts of survivability, you're going to want to prevent as much damage to Dakka's protection pool as possible in the early waves, as if you get unlucky in the opening of later waves with a lot of damage going on to her, it's possible she could die before she has a chance to regain her massive health pool. So we've just killed off the last threat in this wave, and honestly it wasn't a great opening lineup for us. Meeting ARC troopers early on is always horrible, but amazingly we were able to prevent any damage from landing on our team with the exception of Zombie, and it doesn't really matter as she's taunting to protect the team and revives automatically anyway. Looking at the second wave, it doesn't look much better at all. We have 3 AoEers including another ARC trooper. I don't think we're going to be able to avoid taking damage at this point due to the amount of damage these guys are able to put out. That being said, once it gets to the point where you start losing sisters, it's important not to stress too much about it. Deaths are an important mechanic with Nightsisters, so as long as it's not Dakka, you don't need to worry at all about losing Nightsisters here and there. And having them die and revive frequently will help make your team even stronger, which is what we're going to be taking advantage of a lot later in the battle to allow us to get through the final wave. Another thing I forgot to mention is taunting tanks can be very irritating for this squad. We only have 2 dispels on our team to deal with them, so it's important to time Masage's heal to be used after as many tanks have procced their taunt as possible, to allow us free reign to control the more dangerous damage dealers. Our Spirit also has a single target dispel, but I often use this more as a reliable stun. But in a tight situation, be sure to use it to dispel a taunt if you need to get to another target quickly. As many of you know, I absolutely love this team. It's probably my favourite squad in the entire game. I just feel it awards so much for one team compared to other investments in the game, especially since they're a fairly easy team to get going early on. If you don't have a Nightsister team, I honestly couldn't recommend them more to you all. It's such a unique way to play the game, focusing around death, and I just feel that so much thought and effort went into their design compared to some other squads, that I just feel sometimes have been pushed with the only goal to kill the previous top tier team. I personally love squads that have a unique feel to them, and Nightsisters are the perfect example of this. So we're coming up to the end of the wave now. The third wave is going to be a key part to increase our victory chance. The enemies on the 4th wave are likely going to absolutely demolish our team if we don't enter it with a Nightsister dead. This is because we'll desperately need to start stacking Dakka's health as quickly as possible, and the only way to do this is with a Nightsister reviving and assisting constantly on the first few turns of the final wave. If we fail to set this up right, our Dakka could very easily be taken out quickly in the last part of the battle. Okay, so this actually isn't a bad lineup at all. There's nothing here that can really cause us any problems. So in this wave now, we need to waste our 2 free Nightsister deaths from Zombie, and then try and end the wave with Spirit or Talzin dead. This can be very hard to do because as you're getting close to ending the wave, it can be rather easy to use a basic, have a dead sister assist, kill the enemy, and end up with a revive. To get around this, we'll need to try and avoid using basics on enemies that are about to die when you've got one of your sisters dead, although sometimes this is unavoidable. It's also good to keep in mind that a lot of the time the AoEers that we face will usually use their AoE attack on their second turn, so if you're struggling to get them under control, you do often have a little bit of time to get things under control before they unleash their strongest attacks. However, this is not a hard rule. They do on occasion open with their AoEs. It's just in my experience I've found this to be very rare. So we've just landed tenacity down on the only AoE just in time to use our AoE plague. It's going to land on him but not the rest because he's the only one we've got tenacity down on, as we talked about earlier. So our zombie's doing a great job absorbing the damage and protecting our team. I don't like that expose we've got on Dakka, as they're very dangerous for her, because as many of you know, expose when hit removes 20% of a character's max health, so even if our Dakka's managed to stack a lot of health from a Zeta, she's always going to be vulnerable to the snipers if they're able to stack exposes on her. For the most part, Zombie will protect her, but sometimes towards the end of the battle, Zombie can easily get to the point where she can no longer take turns because of her negative stacks. The one redeeming factor though is in the final wave we're likely to meet an elite clone commander, and because he equalises the team's speed to a flat 150, even if Zombie's speed is set to 0 because of a unique, the elite clone commander will override this, which means she'll still be able to take turns no matter how many stacks she has. So I'm going to speed the footage up now to the point where we got incredibly lucky with not having our dead spirit revive. She's going to die at some point in the footage showing now, and we're going to be carefully doing our best to avoid killing anyone with a basic every other turn, as a dead Nightsister can only assist once every 2 attacks. When 2 are dead though, a dead Nightsister will assist off every basic, so that's important to keep in mind. If we do fail to do this, the chances are we'll fail on the final wave. We absolutely need someone dead for this tactic to work reliably. So this is it now. I'm honestly not sure how we didn't get a revive. I think the plague damage did not count from Daka's turn, so it didn't proc the revive, but this is just an assumption. And here we are everyone, the dreaded final wave where all our hard work can be ruined very quickly. Our main goals early on now are to first charge up our Daka's health as quickly as possible with the assist from our dead spirit, and to control the Arc Trooper. Luckily we didn't get multiple Arc Troopers or Sergeants on this wave, but the Arc Trooper alone is very dangerous, as having a Daze Land on Daka can prevent us from getting our team back in order if we lose too many of our squad. As mentioned earlier, the Elite Clone Commander has equalised everyone's speed to 150, but the enemy team has a massive TM boost. Lucky for us though, a dead sister is going to grant our Daka and Asajj frequent turn meter to help us keep up with them. So we've got the Arc Trooper stunned now, we're going to keep focusing him down with Asajj, they're hitting our droid which is great. Let's keep working on Arc Trooper with Daka, and again with Zombie. Just need to keep focusing him down as fast as we can. We also have the perfect example here of what I was talking about earlier with Zombie. As you can see, she has her 2 red stacks, which under usual circumstances would mean she cannot take a turn, which means no more taunt. However, because of Elite Clone Commander, she's still taking turns as usual. I'm not sure if this is working as intended, but it is a massive boost for the team, as Zombie is a key part of protecting our Daka from taking too many hits before she's had enough time to stack her health pool up. We've actually been able to double down on deaths here with an absolutely perfect scenario. With having both Talzin and Spirit dead, the damage of Asajj and health on Daka now is going to be growing stupidly fast, and we're fully benefiting from the TM game that Asajj and Daka get from the assisting dead Nightsisters. Unfortunately here, it's looking Arc Trooper is going to be revived, which is not good at all. It just shows how important it is to control the medics, although at times I know how hard this can be, but be sure to do your utmost best to prevent any revives where possible, as they really can ruin a run quickly. Lucky for us though, we're still in a very strong position. I would say we're very close to being at the point where our Daka is pretty much invincible to anything except a few exposes from that sniper. I find that a lot of the time the enemy team will really try and focus down that rocket droid. I'm not sure why they prioritise him so much at times, but it's extremely beneficial for us to keep Daka out of the spotlight when our zombie isn't taunting. So we've got the medic stun locked now and he's not too far from being killed. We're just going to keep focusing him down with everything we've got, and lucky for us they're still targeting our zombie even though she's not taunting. Let's just keep working on that medic. This should kill him off now, almost. One more hit and he should be... he's just healed up. That is not good at all. It's so annoying when you're so close to killing the medic, and not only does he heal, but they also stealth, locking us out of getting back to work on them for a few turns. Let's just hope he's not going to be here long enough to revive that Arc Trooper again, or it could really prolong this mission. Alright, so we're going to keep working on Clone Commander now until the medic comes out of stealth and we can get back to work on him. Let's use Asajj's basic. The revives are helping us a lot with damage. Arc Trooper's come back again, which is not what we need. Let's try and kill him off quickly. One more hit now and we should have him down again. Let's see if this can do it. Nope. Okay, come on Asajj, kill him off. Medic's almost dead as well. Please don't revive again. Let's just kill him off. No, please, come on. Okay, that's him done, and we're pretty much in the clear now. All the threats have been removed, and it's going to be an easy win from here. As you can see, it was hard to keep things under control in terms of the revives, but by the time it happened, our Daka was tanky enough to not be killed easily by anything they could throw at us. Honestly, the key factor of winning this battle is making sure to start the 4th wave with a Nightsister dead. More health on Daka is so important for surviving this. Sometimes when I don't manage to set this up right, I've had my Relic 7 Daka taken out in 1 to 2 turns, so be sure to do your best with the setup in the 3rd wave. And there we have it everyone, how to get 4 out of 4 in the Phase 4 combat mission. Sorry that I forgot to mention this sooner, but I was using this team in the bottom territory. The middle missions in my opinion are a lot harder, and will benefit more from using more separatist based teams to take advantage of the platoons there. Hopefully you all learnt a lot from the video and can try your luck with your own Nightsisters and grab a few extra waves for your guilds. As always everyone, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, join my Discord server and share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all very soon.